Welcome to my YouTube channel. The material in this video provides a general overview of the historical development of land law in Indonesia, but there are still many more specific details and changes that occurred in each particular time period. The history of land law in Indonesia is very complex and varies over time and changes in government regimes. The following is a general overview of the historical development of land law in Indonesia. Pre-independence period. Before Indonesia became independent in 1945, land law in Indonesia was influenced by the Dutch colonial legal system. During this time, the Dutch introduced a land registration system known as landront in Java and Madura. Land is organized into certain categories, such as company land and private land, with various related regulations. Independence period to Old Order era. After the proclamation of Indonesian independence in 1945, the Indonesian government began drafting a new national land law. In 1960, Indonesia issued the Basic Agrarian Law, UUPA, as the legal basis for regulating land issues in Indonesia. UUPA replaced Dutch colonial land law. New Order era. During the New Order era, led by President Suharto, the government carried out agrarian programs involving land redistribution to small farming communities, such as the Transmigration Program, and granting business use rights, HGU, to large companies. However, these programs have also been criticized because they often do not benefit indigenous communities and often give rise to agrarian conflicts. Reformation and post-New Order era. After the reform in 1998, many changes occurred in the Indonesian land law system. The government adopted agrarian policies that were more pro-people and indigenous communities. Law No. 5 of 1960 concerning basic regulations on agrarian principles, UUPA, has undergone several changes and adjustments to accommodate recent developments. Indigenous peoples and land rights. Since the beginning of the 21st century, greater efforts have been made to recognize and protect the rights of indigenous peoples to land and natural resources in Indonesia. This includes the ratification of Law No. 6 of 2012 concerning the regulation and implementation of government in the regions, especially Article 57 paragraph 1, concerning the recognition of customary rights for indigenous communities. Agrarian reform. The Indonesian government has also tried to carry out agrarian reform to redistribute land more fairly and sustainably. However, major challenges such as agrarian conflict and land grabbing still exist, and implementing agrarian reform can be a complex and controversial process. It should be noted that the history of land law in Indonesia continues to change in line with political and social developments in this country. That is a general overview of the historical development of land law in Indonesia, but there are still many more specific details and changes that occurred in each particular time period.